Welcome back to Rock On Studio Live. My name is Elwood, and thanks for hanging out with us once again. The only show on the web series that gets you one-on-one with all your favorite rock stars during quarantine and more. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You haven't done it yet. It's easy. Click the button. Rock On Studio Live on YouTube. You can check out past interviews, relive some great ones. Corey Taylor last week, Chris Motionless, always a good time. Taylor Mumson joined us, and coming up next week, Brent Smith and Zach Myers will be my guest on Monday. Smith and Myers have their debut record coming out as them a solo artist, and they're going to be doing a drive-in show in Chicago. So we'll talk to them before that hits Monday at 1 p.m. Central Time. You can set those reminders. Oh boy, do I got a good feeling about today's show. This is going to be quite a family affair. Some of my favorite guys in rock, they have collaborated to put out one of the most powerful singles and music videos we've gotten over the last couple months. And putting them together, it just works. We're going to check out the music video live. We'll talk to the guys, get the behind-the-scene view of them, and just see what the shit is going on with everybody. Without further ado, welcoming to the Rock On Studio Live studio, Royal Bliss with special guest SHIM, live from Australia. What's going on, everybody? How's it going, fam?
What's up? What's up? First and foremost, I have to say that you need Royal Bliss and SHIM to write you new intro music for this.
Dude, here's the problem, okay? Copyright, all right? But have you ever gone through the musical choices for non-copyrighted production music?
Yeah. I mean, that's why you just call us up, man. We could do you something in 15 minutes. That'll be.
And how much am I gonna have to pay you?
Just nothing. Just a good hug whenever we can hug each other again.
Just some whiskey and we'll be good.
Yeah, right. That's it. I mean, we're not doing anything else right now. You know, Shim's writing music 24/7. He's got eight different channels going on all day long on Twitch and Facebook.
Do I have some kind of new reputation that I didn't realize? Like when I came in, I got called the Twitch King. I'm like, dude, you guys need to get on there. There are people who are crushing me. Like we're lucky, man. We're lucky to be even working right now and doing stuff. But yeah, man. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I literally was surfing porn while we were waiting to get on, and then when I came back, my camera was stopped working, so I was like, I got to restart the interview.
Cool. To finish off, it's all good.
Yeah.
I thought you were mesmerized by that amazing intro music. I thought what it was. He was like, "Oh, I quit. That's the best song I ever heard."
Dude, you know, I've done intro music for a couple of the stations. We could write you something in a dime if you want. We did F 2020 for are we allowed to swear on this? I can't tell. Are we live on the radio?
Yeah, no.
You're all right. You're good.
We wrote Fuck 2020 with Lou Brutus right after we did an interview with him. So like, let's write something for you, man. Let's just keep pumping out music. It's the only thing we can do right now. God knows we need something to keep us alive.
Gives us something to do.
So Royal Bliss, you guys at home base in Utah?
Yep, we are. I'm here in the man cave where we do our rehearsals in the studio, whatever you want to call it. Brian's
where we wrote the song.
Rapping tables.
We wrote Medication in that room, right?
Yeah, we wrote Medication just sitting right over here. Except for we were both naked, but that was the only difference really from right now to what was happening then. Taylor was sitting in the corner, and I mean, it's just such a spiritual space that music just kind of out of you. It's awesome.
SHIM, you're in Sydney, Australia. What time is it there?
It's 6:30.
6:30 in the morning?
Yep.
Wow. Did you stay up all night, or did you actually get up?
No, I just get up and do my job, brother. You know what it's like. I've come into the studio before. It's like when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to play, it's time to play.
Yeah, and then SHIM has to embarrass us all and work out for 6 hours a day and make us all look like freaking out of shape. Terrible rock
Not anymore,
stars.
dude. Not anymore. Look, we are all in the same boat right now. Everyone talks the same smack on themselves and like, have you been sitting around drinking, just eating hamburgers and pizza? Like everyone's ass got fat. Everyone's belly blew up. Everyone's like, everyone's in the same boat. Like, dude, after the first couple of months, I was like, fuck it. I'm just depressed. Let's just eat and just talk shit. Talk about the good old days, man. Remember when Soundgarden released that album, when albums were albums and music was, oh, come on, just get on with it.
But obviously, you know what we're dealing with here in the U.S., but in Australia, are there concerts going on in Australia?
Concerts are starting up in Australia. Cafes and restaurants are open. People are actually practicing social distancing. I went to the zoo yesterday with my kids. Kids don't practice social distancing. They could give a fuck. They are awesome. They are like, when you go up to them, and parents are funny because they try to keep their kids separate, and they try to look at each other and be like, it's not me. It's the COVID. I'm not saying that your child has herpes. It's like, but can you not get so close? I mean, I know they're having fun, but not too much fun. But wait, what am I saying? This isn't how life is supposed to be. And you start to spiral down the rabbit hole. Like, other than moments like that, we're pretty good, but like concerts will be opening up soon, and that we're back on track. We're back on track. I think we haven't had very many confirmed cases, and there are so few confirmed cases that they hit it pretty quick. Like, they'll smack them in quarantine in the hotel within an hour, and then it's pretty under control.
Yeah, so the opposite of what we're going.
Unfortunately, yeah. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
But you're over there coughing and sniffling, bro. And you went to
I got a normal virus. Dude, you'd be surprised. I got a normal virus 4 weeks ago, and my fans on Twitch were like, go and get tested. You have to go and get tested. What if it's COVID? I'm like, okay, I will. And I went and got tested, and I got my results, and I'm like, I'm fine. And then I'm still sick. I'm still getting past it. And they're like, you should get tested again. Are you sure? You sure it's not COVID? I'm like, wow, people are really freaking out. Like, it's a normal flu, but it's like, if I died from this flu, someone would come and just write COVID on a little bit of paper and be like, yeah, it was that. It was that. Let's rack up the numbers. Let's get it up there. Like, don't get me started. But music and love and peace and mung beans.
This is why Shim's great. This is why you're the king of Twitch. This is why you're on that thing. You're breaking barriers. You're talking smack. And I love it.
I'm trying, man. How much have you been spending on the platform? How much time have you been spending on? Yeah, what have you been looking at?
Too much porn. But that's isn't that what everyone is at this point?
After they do their twitching, yeah. After they do their twitching, then they go and do their tweaking. Yeah.
But at the same time, you're saying you're getting back to shows. Now, Neil, you guys were able to play a couple shows so far during the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
so,
we stuck out there.
Yeah, what was the mindset going into it? Did you guys have a talk? Did you say, we can do this, we can pull it off? What were your thoughts going into it?
Yeah, we made sure, parameters were being taken care of on, in both the camps. And, we were out with Fozzy just for like 4 days. And then we played a bunch of shows here locally and regionally. We have the Royal, which is our live music venue that we own here in Salt Lake. And we opened that first and started playing to about 20% capacity, like 50 people all separated, wear masks going in and doing the whole temperature thing. I mean, trying to take all the precautions. Everybody has to be 25 feet away from us. And making sure that like the groups are at least 6 feet away. Don't go up to the bar. You have a cocktail server with a mask and gloves that serves everybody. So we were taking all the.
I like that better. Yeah, I like that better. That's this is great.
Don't take it off. Don't take it off. Leave it on. Leave it on.
For some cocktail waitresses, it works really good. Just. So it's just one of those things where, like, even going out with Fozzy, their camp was very adamant. Like, everybody in our camp and our band had to wear masks backstage and wear masks while we're loading in, and kind of just being very cautious and trying to be responsible. And the people that were there, like at all the different venues, it was all like 20% capacity rooms. And if you wanted to be socially distanced, you easily could. They would have masks be mandated to come into the club, but most people took them off. So you had people like the front row, still 20 feet away from us, that didn't give a shit and mask and going down and having a good time. But then you had the people in the upper balconies and everywhere else that still wanted to go to a concert wearing a mask and being socially distanced. So it allowed people that wanted to be safe, and the people that didn't give a shit to not give a shit. So it was good to be back on stage. I mean, like, exactly what, this song Medication is kind of transformed into in the video too, is like music is our medication. And once you look at the fans' faces, whenever they come to these concerts, you see how much it means to them to be able to go to a live show and have that human connection where they're not bitching about what everybody else believes. Like the music and sports and everything else that have been taken away are the things that unite people. And, and you could see that where no one gave a shit. Everyone was just screaming, singing songs, having a good time, and they weren't worried about what was outside those walls. And that's the best thing about it, which made us feel so much better for being on that stage for the people. Like, you could tell that literally you were helping their mental state of mind. Like, it was just, it was powerful. So we're trying to play as many shows as we can in a respectful, safe manner. But man, it's You miss it.
And it was a bit of a roller coaster for you guys because you guys signed a big deal probably just before the pandemic started, correct? Wasn't that at
Couldn't
the
have
beginning?
timed it better.
Yeah,
Couldn't have timed it better.
It actually was in the middle of the pandemic. It was in April. So we signed it in April. So like once, we had them coming after us, we played a show in Las Vegas. I think you were down there for Las Vegas. We played that for #happens, and the label was down there, and they saw us play and contacted us on the plane back to LA after our show. It was just like, we want to work with you guys. Let's figure something out. And then it drug on, attorneys and everything else. And then once March hit and all our shows got canceled, I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, we're screwed. This label deal is going away. And our song broke top 20 on the charts at 19. And I'm like, this is typical Royal Bliss luck. But the label decided to go through with it, understanding what's going on. And there's been obvious difficulties through this time as well, like with getting payments and moving things forward, because they obviously lost the majority of their revenue coming in from other artists. But they allowed us to get into the studio and record a whole new record. So we have a whole new album done. We obviously put out Medication. We put out the music video. They're the ones that funded that. So it worked out really well because we would have been totally screwed. Otherwise, we would have no way to move forward or be in the studio because, we got all of our income completely taken away for a solid 3-4 months. And when you're an independent, hardworking band, you can't afford to lose 1 month. So it really did kind of save our ass and allow us to continue to move forward.
And you guys are one of those bands that tour year round, like Royal Bliss. You guys are always playing. So this has got to be like a major punch to the gut for you. Kind of like, what the hell do we do now? We're not used to being home. I'm not used to doing any of this.
Yeah, it was a shocker at the beginning. I was just talking about how, we've been on tour for 17 years, basically nonstop. Like every summer I'm gone, and I have 2 boys, and Taylor now has a little girl. And so it was kind of a forced, vacation, not vacation, but forced to, it forced us to stay home and do our thing, and it's been absolutely amazing for multiple reasons. And I feel guilty to even say that, but like I've been camping with my boys and fishing and on these trips all around Utah and the outdoors that I've never been able to do. And to be honest, like this has been one of the most memorable summers of my life with my family. So it allowed me to really reconnect and build those bonds with my boys and my wife. And it was really a breath, a band like us that's been touring for 17 fucking years nonstop. And then forced, that's the only way we would ever quit touring, is to be forced to quit touring. And it was like,
hold a gun to your head.
Yeah.
I shall play.
It's kind of like a recharge too. Like you said, we've been touring for so long that it was like forced to stop touring. And granted, we got lucky with the label and got into a studio and write and record some music. But overall, it was a recharge. We got to sit home, be with our families, write some music, record. And now it's like, okay, can we stop the recharge and go out and play some shows? But
yeah.
We're going to get there. We're almost there. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're starting to see things. And I was going to really ask bands that, because now we see Florida opened 100%. Indiana announced they're back at 100%. So are bands scrambling? Like, let's go to Florida and play a show. Is that something that people are thinking about doing now, since certain states are going to allow it?
I think certain bands might be, us at this point, we're not looking to tour or do anything until April or May next year. And that's when our next scheduled tours are. We'll still do shows around here regionally. But I mean, obviously we've seen the way these numbers are going, and here in Utah, we've spiked up. We're one of the top spiking states in the country right now, where we've been over 1,000 cases every single day, and they're talking about shutting down again. And so I think the majority of the bands out there are just like understanding that we can't do anything until next year. There's no guarantees. Like everything we booked, like we've had to cancel 136 shows, and we don't want to cancel anymore. The fans can't take that roller coaster either. So we're just like, all right, we're not committing to anything out of our state really until next year, which I think is a smart thing to do. I mean, Florida obviously was the ones that were just like, who gives a shit? Take your clothes off, everybody have sex, make babies, and it's just whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, like all these deaths, and even if it's not what you see on the media, it's what is portrayed through the media to all these people, so they believe that you're part of the problem. And it's one of those things where you can't, as a band, you don't want to put your name in that hat. You know, we played Sturgis this year with Fozzy, and you know, we caught some flack for that, just like what the fuck. But you know, we were safe and we stayed away from everybody, and that was going to happen with or without us.
I
And it
felt
felt
safer
good to
there
be
than I do at Walmart. Seriously.
Yeah. Right.
That was a big thing when they broke the headline, 300,000 cases tied back to Sturgis. And then like a week later, they're like, well, that's maybe not true. It was like, come on, guys. It's fear mongering.
They wanted Sturgis to be such an explosion of the pandemic. They wanted it so bad, and it didn't happen. And they tried to push it and push it and push it. And then it's just another one of those things where it's like, that was a bunch of bullshit, just trying to make a certain group of people look bad. And, you know, sure, it wasn't, you know, ideal. It wasn't a safe thing to do, you know, like as far as not contracting something. But so many of us out there are just like, you know, the majority of us that are young and healthy are not getting very sick or not getting sick at all. And all the deaths are above 60 years old for the most part. So I totally get that side of it. And, you know, we're somewhere in the middle where it's like, I respect the people that wear masks. I wear masks in stores. It's not my house. And we have a sign that says, wear a mask. I'm going to put on a fucking mask because I don't own that place. If I was going to my grandma's house and she wanted me to take off my shoes, I'm taking off my shoes. So I'm just in the middle where I totally get it. I'm not scared of catching it, but I also understand where maybe somebody is scared of catching it. And I want to be respectful of that.
That's good. And speaking of taking off your shoes, taking off your mask, Neil, what were you wearing in this picture? Can we get this picture pulled up? Can we figure this out? What is going on here?
I think I've seen that.
Whatever. It's in your bedroom, Shim. I know it.
That's where it is. That's right.
Inspiration for medication right there.
Yeah, you should have taken your meds that day, Neil.
Oh God!
Oh man, I'm just trying to get some clicks here, you know. And you could be on the cover of Playgirl with this. I think, is that even a magazine anymore? Do they still make Playgirl?
I think this is the picture that put him out of business, mate.
And then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic. So as we're talking about contracting things, I feel like I could contract something by just looking. We have an action shot. We have an action shot.
Oh shit.
So this is your jogging gear, I guess. Is that what this is?
That's what I wear going jogging. It gives me a lot of
workout out there.
You know, like sometimes jogging things dangle and it gets uncomfortable, and this keeps everything nice and tight. It was funny, right on that actual picture right there. I was jogging, so they were doing a live radio broadcast, and I was jogging. I came to the broadcast because I lost a bet. I lost a bet that the Seahawks were going to beat Green Bay Packers in the playoffs, and they didn't. So me and Tom Keefe was the other one that would have to wear that. And so I showed up the next morning jogging by the radio program where there's like 150 people in this resort in Costa Rica listening to the morning radio show. And so I decided to jog around. And right there when I'm jogging, there was a lady pushing a stroller at the end of the park, at the end of the sidewalk.
Oh, no.
She came walking towards me and stopped abruptly and turned around and went the other way.
Oh,
and then they made some Bliss sanitizer out of the same thing. You see this?
Oh, see, keeping everybody safe at the same. That's amazing. That is truly amazing.
So if you need some hand sanitizer, we have a bunch of it.
How uncomfortable was it putting that thing on?
I think it was more uncomfortable taking it off, mate.
I think he got used to it. He liked it.
Did you wear it for a long time, or was it like, all right, I did it, I'm done?
I wore it for probably a few hours, and then I think I put it on again the next day or 2 days later. Oh, yeah, I did put it on again.
Why isn't anyone asking us how uncomfortable we are that we had to look at that shit? That's what I want to know.
It's gold, baby. That's gold.
Yeah.
Click, 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 click.
It's burned in the eyes, burned in the eyelids of people right now. Where it's I still have it, and I'm gonna whip it out more.
That's what she said.
For radio shows.
I don't think I'm gonna borrow that.
I'm not washing it either, so I'm gonna keep that nice
Got
must.
pre-COVID germs.
All right,
I just threw up in my mouth a bit.
It's the next album cover. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We're smart. We know what's gonna sell. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the new single, Medication. It's collaboration, Royal Bliss featuring SHIM. When did you shoot this music video? When were you able to do it? Did you do it during the pandemic?
We did do it during the pandemic.
I went down to LA in the end of June. It kind of happened pretty quick, but I think the idea that we had behind it was it kind of fit the socially distance and people wearing masks with, being in a hospital. And I mean, if you watch the video, there's not many people in it other than us and a couple of Russian twins. So.
Well, we might
That's
as well dive
clickbait.
in.
That'll get people watching the video right there.
Yeah.
There's us and a couple of Russian twins. Go ahead and watch
say
it.
the word Russian. It's going to freak everybody out. All right.
Well, when they originally said Russian twins, we were like, oh yeah, that's good. And then it was two dudes.
Yeah,
Rock on Studio Live right now. If you haven't checked it out yet, let's do it now. Royal Bliss. Here's Medication featuring SHIM. We'll talk about the video coming up next. Let's rock this.
Play music. Do not attempt to play shows. Do not rock out. All who do not comply will be arrested immediately. Now enjoy the smooth sound of the Royal Bliss cover band. Look at this thing. So sleek, like a woman, like a hot woman. You love that? I love that. I got that. We all got that. Put a pickle on it. I cut my tongue. You buy now, you can get to it. Order now. Breaking news. Stay at home or to remain innocent. Do not attempt to work. I don't really want to talk about it. I don't really want to waste my time. Everybody's got the ways around it. You've got yours and I've got mine. I don't need another intervention. I don't need another rescue line. Everybody's got the ways around it. You've got yours and I've got mine. Got yours, now give me mine. Where's my medication? 'Cause I'm about to lose my mind. Where's my medication? You pushed me one too many times. You got yours, now give me mine. You're a walking contradiction. Don't tell me how to live my life. I can make my own decisions. You make yours and I'll make mine. You can take your words of wisdom. You can take that shit advice. You can take this conversation and stick it where the sun don't shine. Stick it where the sun don't shine. You got yours, now give that mine. Where's my medication? 'Cause I'm about to lose my mind. Where's my medication? 'Cause you pushed me one too many times. You got yours, now give me mine. Medication. Enjoy the smooth sound of the Royal Bliss cover band.
Beautifully done. Beautiful. I don't want. Is the bathing suit coming out right at the end? That's what you should have had there.
Yeah. I break out of the suit there, and that's what's underneath.
That's what you just bang, bam, and you should have had it there. Medication featuring SHIM, Royal Bliss, the brand new single. And I went back and forth on telling you this because couldn't tell if it was being a dick or being supportive. But the first time I heard that track, I heard it and I said, "This is my favorite Royal Bliss track that I've heard." Is that a dick move to say, or is that okay to say?
Hell no, that's awesome.
You know,
It's because it's the latest single. That'd probably be tough if it was like this song that you released 10 years ago. That's my favorite. Everything else you've done since sucks. But like, as long as you're progressing, I think that's a dope thing.
play the old shit. Play the old shit. How many times have you guys heard that in your life from?
God.
I hear that all the time now on my end. Let's be real.
Yeah, Shim's on a different level with that. I don't even know what they scream for you. Yeah,
You're like, he's changed, man. He's changed. Take the drugs out of the equation and look what happens. So what's up?
and I'll tell you this, man, Shim, we're not going to get into it, but it was kind of cool to see you open up and break down to finally talk to fans and say what happened between you and your former band and say, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but you kind of kept that close to your heart for a very long time.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, there was a lot of reasons, but I didn't realize until this year, it didn't occur to me that I was doing the interview with the Bliss and Lou Brutus, and afterwards he asked me just real quick, he was like, hey, just before you go, can you tell me about the band split up? And for everyone who was in the band and around the band, everyone kind of got it. Like they saw it happening and building up over years. Everyone who was in your position, for example, who worked just one step away from us had no idea, because we did a good job of saying the band is the band and we have a job to do, and we're not going to be one of those bands like Guns N' Roses that throws shit at each other across the stage or whatever. And I'd forgotten, I really had, that no one knew the real story. So I thought, oh, does anyone care? And then he asked, and people started asking. I was like, all right, it's been a while. Let's see what happens if I just tell my side of the story. Keep it respectful, keep it honest, keep it true to the legacy of the band, like I said, because I swear to God, man, it was really important. If you hear that, like, one of the singers in a band is just an absolute douche, you go, too bad, I can't listen to that music anymore. And then that's what I spent 20 years of my life doing. So I didn't want to ruin that. So, but I'm glad you dug it. Yeah, it got a good little bit of traction for a second, and it was a good time to do it as well, because, you know, the Bliss has the single out with me on it, and we're all having a good time. So yeah, a little bit more press for that. Awesome.
I'm gonna start calling you Justin Timberlake. You just wanted to walk away on your own and dance yourself, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Just cry me a fucking river, baby.
I do have a little shim.
There it is. That's what you don't tell me you have that on when you're surfing porn, because that's going to be a weird image for me from now on.
It's my little shim. I don't know. It sounds weird now that
It is. It's like I just sit here by myself in isolation, and little shim keeps me company.
No.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I know what you mean.
You had to make it dirty. I have to make it dirty.
I have to.
All right, so what's next? Royal Bliss, before we go, you got a live streaming event coming up. You're having a little bit of a Halloween party. Neil, you want to tell everybody how they can get involved with that?
Yeah, we're gonna do another one of those stage it things. We did one before, and it was a good time, and it was well done. We did it at a studio here in Salt Lake called Pale Horse Sound, Dark Horse Sound, Pale Horse Sound, and yeah, it's you have to do everything through stage it, but it'll be full on Halloween. We're gonna theme it up and just have a good time. So that's coming.
You guys gonna be in full costume? Do you have those planned yet?
Kinda. We're going for simple costumes, but yeah, we have a good idea of what we want to do.
You never know.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Just keep the bathing suit away. We don't need that. And by the way, Borat 2 is coming out. Borat 2 was already done filming, so maybe we'll get something out of that.
No shit. Hey, awesome. Man, I'm gonna bring that back. But that's on October 29th. I didn't say when that was, but
yeah, you can see it on the bottom. Halloween show. Get more info at Royal Bliss on Facebook. Plus, you can check out royalbliss.com. Shim, the king of Twitch. Make sure you subscribe to Shim's Twitch page. It's amazing. No, you are engaging with fans, and bands are. You're in a territory that nobody's ever been before. We're trying to think of ways to continue to be relevant, continue to engage in your fans, continue to give them music. You guys have been stepping above and beyond to try to do that. And Shim, I'm not making fun of you when I call you the king of Twitch. I think it's unbelievable, all the stuff you're doing on social media. And I think it's so cool for you to be interacting with that, you know?
I appreciate that, man, because it is a lot of work, and it's definitely one of those things that's outside the artists have a specific headspace that they exist in, and then suddenly COVID hits, and you're like, wait, I got to access this whole part of my brain to learn computer technical coding stuff and figure it out. But yeah, man, you're absolutely right. It really is. Our job is to connect with people and to provide. What we sell is connectivity. We don't sell music anymore. We sell connection, and people use the music as a way to connect. So it's just another way to deliver our services to people. And when you think of it that way, it's really the same as if you invite a plumber over to your house. You know, plumber's got the tools to fix your toilet or do whatever. And if things change, you get new tools. So we're all getting new tools to figure out how to do our jobs correctly and be of service to people. But I appreciate the kind words, and it's nice to know people are noticing. So thanks for, most importantly, man, thanks for helping us promote the single and keeping music alive and just staying true to your job and not letting this stuff bog you down. Because I know a lot of people just complain, and you're one of the guys that's just staying above it and being like, dude, fuck everyone. I'm just going to do my job and keep at it.
That's all we can do, man. I live life now one day at a time. One day at a time.
That's right.
Until we have to plan stuff ahead. But that's a different thing. We don't have to worry about that. But if you haven't heard the new single, Medication, on your local rock radio stations, make sure you're calling them, emailing them, messaging them. You have no idea how far that goes. So call your local rock radio station. Tell them we want to hear more of Royal Bliss with SHIM. New single, Medication. I can't wait to see you guys back on the road doing your live show. And until then, I give you a virtual hug. As sad as this is.
Oh God, fucking Neil, way to go, mate.
Always, every time.
Just imagine, could you imagine that poor woman walking around the corner? She saw that coming at her with no clothes on. That's what she saw. You actually felt it. Everyone watching, you felt it in your bones. Right
oh my God. Check out the music video. Go, Neil.
I heard the screech of the stroller. It was like,
yeah. And you look like you're out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. You look like you're exactly out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Put a what you looking at? You're the one with the problem. I'm free.
My name is Elwood. That's Royal Bliss. That's SHIM. And this is Rock On Studio Live. Stay safe, everybody, and stay metal. Cheers. Love you guys.
Thanks for having us, mate.
thank you so much.
You.